Azerbaijani President Ilham Aliyev, occupying Armenia is a colonial country. 10,000 Armenian soldiers had fled the army in Karabakh. The Azerbaijani army entered the city of Agdam, which has been under Armenian occupation for 27 years. Azerbaijani President Ilham Aliyev in his address to the nation announced that 10,000 Armenian soldiers had fled the army. Linking Armenia's failure to its occupier, Aliyev said the country was actually a colony. In Armenia, which has experienced a historical defeat against Azerbaijan, the waters do not stop. According to Russian media, Armenia's defense minister has allegedly resigned. The statements of an Armenian general revealed the extent of the defeat. The Azerbaijani army entered the city of Agdam, which has been under Armenian occupation for 27 years. Armenia, on the other hand, continues to be shaken by chaos and resignations after the historic defeat. Azerbaijani President Aliyev made important statements in his address to the nation today. It is reported that the Azerbaijani army entered Agdam province, which has been under the occupation of Armenia for 27 years. In a statement, the Ministry of Defense of Azerbaijan announced that the Azerbaijani army entered Agdam in accordance with the ceasefire agreement signed between Azerbaijan and Armenia under the intermediate decency of Russia. The enthusiasm of the Azerbaijani army, which entered Agdam with tanks hanging the Azerbaijani and Turkish flags, was reflected in the shared videos. The Armenian army and civilians, who set fire to the places they left, set fire to many houses in Agdam. Footage shared by Azerbaijani media showed people in the region burning their homes before they left. After the rescue of 5 urban centers, 4 towns and 286 villages in the operation launched by the Azerbaijani army on September 27, 2020, Armenia accepted defeat and signed an agreement pledging to evacuate the occupied provinces of Agdam, Lukan, and Kalbajar. Azerbaijani President Ilham Aliyev made important statements in his address to the nation today. Aliyev addressed the nation. The number of soldiers deserting from the Armenian army has exceeded 10,000. They admitted that number themselves, he said. Azerbaijani President Ilham Aliyev accused Western countries of being silent on both Armenia's attacks on civilian settlements of Azerbaijan and the pressure on dissidents in Armenia, saying, "Where are you at the Council of Europe? Where is the Council of Europe, which despises Azerbaijan and tries to shake our reputation? Why are you silent? Where is your democracy, your human rights?" The phrase used. Aliyev, who said that Armenia was defeated and they themselves admitted it, said, "Armenia is a failed country. What is the reason for this failure? Occupation. I've said it many times. I said that this invasion would lead Armenia to the abyss. I said that we would never accept this invasion, that sooner or later we would get our land back. Armenia has not been an independent country for nearly 30 years and is not independent today. Armenia is actually a colony. The occupation won them nothing. Defeated on the battlefield, they disgraced the whole world. After that, they will live with the stigma of defeated country. I told them to come to their senses in time, to stop the invasion. As long as this occupation continues, Armenia will not be able to develop. Politically dependent, militarily dependent, economically deficient. They formed a very damaging ideological basis. Its ideological foundations are based on lies, historical distortions and the past. Aliyev noted that a country that cannot establish normal relations with its neighbors cannot develop. They claim territory to Turkey. They have no brains. It is suicide to claim land from a large country like Turkey, he said. As president, I am in favor of ending hostilities in the South Caucasus and establishing normal relations. We have no problem with the Armenian people. I am sure that the Armenians living in Nagorno-Karabakh today will one day realize that the only way for them is to live side by side with the Azerbaijani people, in a neighborly relationship and to give up all these ugly things. If Azerbaijan had not defended its right, Armenia would not have left our territory, Aliyev said in a statement. Azeri masjids were scattered, our history was tried to be destroyed, maps were redrawn. The phrase used. Aliyev, I sincerely congratulate the people of Agdam, you will no longer be without a home. He added that the trilateral Karabakh agreement signed is in accordance with the conditions of Azerbaijan. Baku is ready to normalize relations if sane people rule Yerevan, but currently there is a very deep crisis in Armenia, Aliyev said in his statement, adding that our soldiers have proven our political strength at the front and we are at the table. Aliyev also stressed that the mine clearance works in the Karabakh region will continue for some time, and Azerbaijan will begin the reconstruction of the region after these studies. Armenia, which suffered a heavy blow from Azerbaijan, continued to receive resignations, while Defense Minister David Tanoyan allegedly resigned from his post. In Armenia, where protests continued after the Azerbaijani defeat, Reuters quoted Russian media as saying that Tanoyan had submitted his resignation from the ministry. Among the information received is that the resignation was accepted. Alan Tanoyan, who was severely criticized especially after the Azerbaijani defeat, was replaced by Vagarsh Karadzianyan, who was a military advisor to Armenian Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan. Recently, Armenian Foreign Minister Zahranitskanyan also left the post. According to the decree signed by Armenian President Armen Sargsyan, Armenian Emergencies Minister Felix Tsolikian and Labor Minister Zarui Batoyan were also removed from their posts. According to the agreement signed between Russia, Armenia, and Azerbaijan, as of November 10, the conflicts had stopped and the parties had maintained their positions. Azerbaijan, by agreement, had both established control over the areas in which it was advancing in Nagorno-Karabakh and had made Armenia accept its request to withdraw from the 7 regions. Armenian General Mavsuz Akapian explained that 100% of the information provided by the Armenian Defense Ministry about the Azerbaijan-Armenia conflict was incorrect. One of the tasks of the Information Center of the Ministry of Defense of Armenia was to mislead the enemy. But there is a standard. Lies should not exceed 30%. The information disseminated by the Armenian Ministry of Defense was 100% false, he said. Due to the situation, I decided to resign as Military Chief Inspector of the Ministry of Defense on October 5, but I did not explain my decision due to the severity of the war, Akapian said, stressing that the lies spread during the 44-day war caused a deep crisis in Armenia. Mavsuz Akapian left his post as Military Chief Inspector of the Armenian Defense Ministry 2 days ago. Opposition members, who have been protesting for the resignation of Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan, who was accused in Armenia of being responsible for the Nagorno-Karabakh defeat, this time closed the roads. In the country, where a political crisis has erupted since the deal was made, the opposition bloc decided to continue its protests until Pashinyan resigned, while a group of opposition members reached Admiral Izakov Street in the capital Yerevan, shouting slogans with megaphones and blocking the road to traffic. After reaching the area, police detained some demonstrators and opened the road to traffic again. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov said that the United States and France resent Russia for not playing a role in the agreement that halted the conflicts between Azerbaijan and Armenia in Nagorno-Karabakh. It is felt that French President Emmanuel Macron was offended in his meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin, as well as in my contacts with my American and French colleagues on Nagorno-Karabakh, Lavrov said, noting that the United States and France played an important political role in creating the necessary conditions for the agreement. This is very sad, said. Lavrov quoted French Foreign Minister Jean-Yves Le Drian as saying in his talks that they wanted people in Nagorno-Karabakh not to be killed, not to leave their homes, and not to increase the number of refugees and displaced people. Lavrov said it would not be appropriate to call Washington and Paris to try to agree with them on whether they would support the terms of the agreement if every minute was worth a person's life. Meanwhile, French President Emmanuel Macron held phone calls with Azerbaijani President Ilham Aliyev and Armenian Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan. In a written statement from the Élysée Palace, Macron expressed France's priorities after the ceasefire agreement signed between Azerbaijan and Armenia in telephone conversations with Aliyev and Pashinyan. The statement said that with the end of the fighting, negotiations should resume in good faith for the protection of the people in Nagorno-Karabakh and the return of tens of thousands of people who have fled their homes in recent weeks. Macron's country will provide humanitarian aid to the Nagorno-Karabakh region and wants measures to protect religious and cultural heritage to be taken. At a weekly press briefing, Russian Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Maria Zakharova made public the ongoing diplomatic and military developments in Nagorno-Karabakh. Zakharova quoted Russian leader Vladimir Putin, Azerbaijani President Ilham Aliyev and Armenian Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan as continuing their talks since November 10, 2020. when the agreement was signed between Armenia and Azerbaijan mediated by Russia. Efforts for normalization in Nagorno-Karabakh have been continuing since last week, Zakharova said. Russian President Vladimir Putin, Azerbaijani President Ilham Aliyev and Armenian Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan held phone calls and held talks on the implementation of the agreement in the region. It is important to ensure the unconditional implementation of agreements. As of November 10, 2020, we continue to take appropriate steps for calm in the region in accordance with the statements of the leaders of Russia, Azerbaijan, and Armenia, he said. Thank you for listening to the news from habartv.com.